Well, we've got Justice Eberechi Okwu on the line, and we're going to talk about his book, Marriage Principles, which the main purpose of is to ensure admirable healthiness of a successful marriage relationship between spouses, while preparing bachelors and spinsters who are planning to take the massive jump into the institution of marriage with all the needed information to help them. And of course, as I say, Justice is here. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Great. So this book about marriage principles, what are the main things that we learn from it?
Well, there are a lot of things we learn from it because this book was primarily written for those who are planning to get into marriage. There are some of those who are searching for their life partner, for instance, and some of them don't know how to get their life partner correctly. And there are some of those who are also in marriage already, but they are having a lot of issues in their marriage. And there are a lot of us singles. There are a lot of singles who are not planning to get married, but they are also not knowledge-wise. They are nowhere, in the issue of marriage. So this book is mainly to prepare those singles who are not ready yet, the ones that are ready, the bachelors and the spinsters who are ready, and then those who are searching, and those who are already in marriage. This book is to help them. For those in marriage, it will help them to manage their homes, because we find that most marriage ended in divorce, and the reason for divorce maybe primarily is because they don't have in-depth knowledge of a lot of things about marriage. If they did, it would not end. It would not end the way it did, because I watched a lot of magazines. I saw a lot of videos with respect to broken homes, and people confessing, if what I know today, I knew it then. When I divorced my partner, I wouldn't have done so. So you see that this is a knowledge-based mistake. If they knew it, they wouldn't have left their first marriage.
Yeah. So
this book, if they go through this book, there wouldn't be that mistake, there wouldn't be that trial by error, there wouldn't be that regrets had I known. So this book is just to prepare them, and also for successful marriage.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
And what characteristics do you think are in a spouse that attribute to a successful marriage?
I will just define dynamics of marriage. I define dynamics of marriage as that amount of energy required to vigorously drive a healthy marital relationship across the ocean of challenges, thereby overcoming every obstacle it might encounter while maintaining a good mental, physical, and spiritual balance. I also did state there that a successful marriage does not come cheap. It requires hard work. It requires enough energy. It requires tremendous power. It requires quality time, attention, where wisdom, knowledge, and understanding becomes a constant. There must be enough knowledge in marriage. There must be wisdom. There must be understanding. There must be hard work. There are a lot of things that makes marriage actually successful. I will list a few of them, but there are a lot. There are a lot actually. I will say number one. I will say God. God is love, as we know in the Bible. God is love. So they must everything we do in life, whether they are Christians, they are not Christians. What I do know is that anyone who comes up with a good conduct, anyone who comes up with a good lifestyle, lifestyle that directly or indirectly, you can connect them to God's will. You can connect them to what God wants us to do as human beings. You can connect it to be God. That is the way I see it. Because there are successful marriages that are actually not, you cannot say the person really know God that much or even have Jesus Christ in his life, but they are having a successful marriage. The reason is that the key is the lifestyle they adopted. If you look at it very well, they are biblically based.
Yeah.
You can connect them to the word of God, And the second one is, like I mentioned, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The couple must have enough knowledge about marriage. They must have enough knowledge about marriage. They must have wisdom, good sense of humor. They must have understanding. There must be understanding between them, because these are two different persons living together under same roof, trying to coexist as a husband and wife. So they must have very good understanding. And another thing I will point out is forgiveness and unconditional love. Forgiveness in the sense that we expect something. We expect challenges in marriage. Of course, we expect the couple to have one misunderstanding or the other. But the ability of one to forgive another can actually drive that marriage into success. That is what we're talking about. There must be offenses, but the ability for one to forgive the other by simply saying, I'm sorry over this, and saying, I'm sorry, the other forgives easily, can retain a happy home. Unconditional love that is not actually based on how this person looks, beautiful or not beautiful, this body composition, this one and that one. It's not based on any of those things. You just love the person naturally as a person, Then I would say for the ability to balance family, physical, and spiritual overall well-being is also very, very important. For them to balance the physical and the spiritual, knowing that the spiritual controls the physical. And there are some things that happens to marriage that actually you cannot relate it to be physical issues. There are issues that are spiritually manipulated, but if the couple don't know, they can be taken for a ride, and before you know it, marriage is over. So they must be able to connect, to stand in between the physical and spiritual and try to balance it. And that is why I bring in God. They must try to know God. And 5 is commitment. They must be committed to their marriage, not partial commitment, because there are people, they are partially committed here, partially committed, not fully committed. They are committed partially here, they are committed partially somewhere. Or, something else can commit them, their phone, their television, it can be any kind of program they like, or maybe even having extramarital affair, somewhere outside the marriage, so it can be part here, part there. But we're talking of complete commitment to marriage. Commitment to your partner, is very, very important. And then effective communication, being able to communicate freely is also another thing. And then they must demonstrate also faith and patience at all times, patient with each other, having faith. They are not doing well now. Okay, by God's grace, they are going to do well tomorrow. They are working so hard on it, not really trying to jump into, trying to take opportunity to jump into one who has already made it in life, or who is already, doing very well. This is one thing people do, but this kind of successful people successful marriage will be that kind of people that this kind of couple that will believe in themselves, have patience in their vision, have patience in their dreams, and believing that in the end they will get to where they actually have in mind. And then 8 is their choice to manifest happiness and unity over unhappiness and division. They have to choose to manifest happiness at all times, regardless of the circumstance. They are just happy with themselves and happy over their little achievements. Very important. Then they must choose to be contentment over discontentment. They must choose contentment over discontentment. Contented with what they have, not really comparing themselves, always comparing themselves with this other person. We married the same time. They have 3 children. We don't have at all. They have a car. We don't have a car. They have this one. They have a house. We don't have a house. All those things are very irrelevant. And most of these things are the reason why we're having a lot of problems in marriage. But this, when you see a marriage marriage that is successful, you find that they are very, very content with what they have. They are okay. Not that they have enough, but they are just okay. They are fine with the little they have, while they are making efforts to gather more. So if I see these things, if you see these things in marriage, I would describe that marriage as a successful marriage.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, how did you find your spouse? Because you mentioned earlier that some people struggle to find the right life partner.
Okay, well, in the case of my life partner finding, I will say it's God. God directed me on this, because actually I waited on the Lord, prayed, fasted concerning this matter, and it was very, very difficult. But as I wrote in my book, I moved from Gabon to Nigeria to attend a job. It was an official job. And after that job, while I was on my way back, I followed through a street. And on that street, it was a voice inside of me, and that period, I was fasting. I was in fasting and prayer, just believing God, praying and believing God for his will. I wanted God's will. I didn't want to make a mistake in marriage, because I read a lot in marriage. I read a lot in marriage, and I found out that most people that got divorced were those who jumped into marriage in a hurry. They never made any research. They were not really patient enough to gather information about the person before jumping into. So I didn't want to repeat such. That's why I took my time praying about this, fasting about it, just asking God to help me find the right person. So on that fateful day, I was on that street, and then I heard a voice within me telling me I should turn to my left. So as I turned to my left, my eyes went straight to this lady, to this girl who happens to be my wife today. And he said to me, "That is your wife you have been asking for." And I've never known this girl ever. I've never seen her before. I have never come across her either in social media or anywhere. Never. That was my first time. I mean, I became curious. So I just made a prayer. Okay, as I got home that day, maybe I will go back there and see. The following day, I will go back there and see if I can find her there and stuff like that. So I think this was how I found my life partner. The rest is just there are a lot of stories around it. But this was what happened. So I saw her, and then I approached her the days after, and before you know it, God perfected it. There are a lot of stories around it, but I can't share all now.
Yeah. And have you got any more books on the way after this one at all?
Yes, of course. I have more books on the way. I have a book on divorce. I think this book is ready. It's ready as we speak. It just a lot of things around it that will help me. I need to publish it, but there are a lot I need to do financially to have this published. But I have a book on divorce already.
Well, in the meantime, where can we find this current book, Marriage Principles?
Yeah, this book is available on the website. It's available on Amazon Kindle. Yeah. It's available on Amazon Kindle. And there is also a website for it.
Which is marriageprinciple.com, right?
Yes, marriageprinciple.com, yes.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for joining us on the show today. It's been very interesting to talk to you.
Thank you so much.